What's up? So I'll make a quick video. I'm gonna talk about my experiences. So like how I view work, right? How I view a 9 to 5. I feel a 9 to 5 job as extremely horrible because like you're forced to wake up every day. You're forced to show up on time. If you don't show up, you either get fired or you get in trouble or you get consequences. So that's crazy. The human body, they can only take so much. The human body needs rest. You got time speeding up, you got the days going by extremely fast. So it's gonna be harder for the human body to regenerate like that. People shouldn't be having to work for that much. The average person works 40 hours a week, 5 times a week. That's full time right there. Not to mention people have family and kids, so they don't have time to spend time with their loved ones or to even spend time focusing on themselves because they're too busy trying to make money. And we live in a world where like in order for you to navigate this world, you have to make money. But what happens if you have people who are billionaires who not even that people who rule over this world, they hoard most of the earth's resources, right? And then they use their greed, and now people are stuck slaving away just so they could make ends meet and survive. That creates a lot of generational trauma and curses. So there's so much bullshit in this world. um on my Twitter feed, I saw like a lot of like 9/11 towers blowing up and stuff like that, and it's insane how like me personally, I feel like 9/11 was kind of a setup in a way. Yes, I do believe there are planes that actually crash those buildings, but there's so much evidence and videos and footage of how like there's explosives like in the bottom of these buildings. So was it really a setup? If so, why did the government set it up? Was that like a sacrifice? What the fuck is going on? I could be wrong, but there's a lot of evidence saying that like within these 9/11 towers, like it wasn't just the planes that caused it. It was like other explosions that happened even before the plane crashed, and like it's kind of impossible for planes to make these big ass buildings to collapse like that. So it was like, was this even? So it makes you think, was it really pre-planned? Also, I'm gonna talk about celebrities. You see a lot of famous people, celebrities, right? Why is that? They have so much like Illuminati symbols and just like devil worshiping symbols, or like they promote a lot of fake shit, like Katy Perry going to space. That's fake. She did not went there. So why are they promoting that shit? Are they trying to get attention? Are they trying to gain views? What's the purpose of it? You see so many celebrities and famous people throw up certain types of like signs and symbolism of like them like worshiping the devil or just doing some evil ass shit. So what the hell is actually going on? There's so many stories that's being thrown out there that they're part of like child trafficking, or like either they're in it or they're a part of it, or like they were victims of it, or like, you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of crazy shit that's going on. And what's up with these YouTubers too? So most of these YouTubers who are very mainstream, most of these YouTubers who have so much views and subscribers and they're very well known, like they have millions and thousands. Like, why is it that like if you're new to YouTube, you automatically subscribe to them? Like automatically. Why? I didn't even know. I've been on YouTube for a long ass time, for years, and I didn't even know I was subscribed to these mainstream gamers or these people. Like, what the fuck? So I unsubscribed from them, but I didn't even realize I was subscribed to them automatically. If you look at their content, they're not making any real. They're not doing anything. They're just being obnoxious and saying dumbass shit. And shout out to Chauncey One. He's right, because Chauncey One, he really exposed that shit. Chauncey One, he exposed these mainstream YouTubers. Pretty much, he said that like he made a good point too. He basically said that these mainstream YouTubers, the reason why they're so big, because people in power, like they want them to be mainstream so they could push out an agenda to distract the people. And that makes sense of why they have so much, like they have millions of views, so much like literally millions of views, and they're being so popular and worldwide, yet they do nothing but just act like a fool, act crazy and shit like that. They're not speaking anything useful or nothing that's helpful. They just act like a fucking retard. And they get so many views and popularity, and they're so famous, and like, how is that even possible? You know what I'm saying? It's not because they have talent. It's not because they're meant to know. It's just like Chauncey once said, it's like people in power, they're using them to distract a lot of people. Not just was, and that's a lot of mainstream YouTubers you see today. Most YouTubers you see with not most, but all of them, with millions of subscribers and over thousands, is because they have an agenda. Like just like what Chauncey said, either they're aware of it or they're not aware of it, but they're being used to distract motherfuckers pretty much. So some of them apparently, which I do believe, are being forced to do that shit, or because they signed a deal, kind of like selling your soul to the devil, but like more so like yeah, it's kind of like that, but more so like if they don't do that, then they get killed or they get in trouble for that. So that's very trippy. So what? So this world is there's a lot of bullshit that goes along, is going around this world. What the fuck is going on? Is there a lot? There's a lot of like symbolism and a lot of like black magic and a lot of like just energy work being thrown within this world. So without a doubt, I do believe there's a lot of demonic entities at play within this realm. But there's also a lot of like people who are very evil and sinister and are greedy, and they have a sick mind and very twisted and very narcissistic, very evil. These same people rule over this world and hoard most of the earth's resources from the collective pretty much. But also do blame God and the universe to a certain extent, because God and the universe, keep in mind, since if they're the creators, I'm not saying it's true, but apparently since they're the creators of this realm, of this reality, technically it is their fault in a way, because they're allowing this realm to have certain free will to where they allow negative energies and negative ass people to control and rule over innocent people pretty much. So that's one of the main reasons why there's so much generational trauma, generational curses, narcissism, crime, wars and battles, enslavement, pain and suffering, and yeah, pretty much because God is allowing these types of rules and regulations to happen, and you have certain astrology to where it allows people to manipulate these energies to where it can work into their favor, and a lot of and Chance when he talks about this, but he breaks it down pretty much, but he pretty much breaks it down where like, and I agree with him that these Masons or these people in power, like they know how to use these realities, this realm's energy for them to get away with doing a lot of evil ass shit without them giving any type of consequence. By that's they're able to run their system by off of people suffering, because they know how the energy works. So just the fact that this realm, this reality allows shit like this to happen, or just the fact that this realm is very is this, the fact that this realm, this reality is like it can be, you can get manipulated in that way. That tells you that this realm is pretty much that's the realm is a problem. The God and the creator, those that created this, they're the fucking problem. You know what I'm saying? But so it's just trippy. So if we're dealing with all this shit, we live in a weird world. This is why when I used to think like, man, why there's so much generational curses, and generational trauma and narcissism and crime and so much enslavement and world corruption, at times you have to look at it from a higher perspective, because it is God and the universe that are at fault. And this realm, this reality, they're at fault too. As human beings, we can only do so much. We can speak about it. We can be more aware of it. But at the end of the day, I feel like I'm not saying I'm right, but I feel like God and the universe, they're at play, because they're the ones that are responsible for this shit. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Now I'm gonna talk about yeah. So it's very weird, man. It's trippy. This is why, like, the more you learn about spirituality, the more you study about spirituality, the more you study about world corruption, the more you put two and two together. I watch a lot of spiritual YouTubers, and I compare it to my own experiences, and then I put two and two together. And it's not that I'm believing what they're saying because he said, she said this. No, like I'm learning from this from my own experience, from my observations, from my own intuition. So you have all this shit going on. But it's a spiritual, it's a 3D and a spiritual thing too, because there are demonic entities, there are like negative energies at work, there are like demonic beings that are at play that feed off of human suffering and shit like that. They perpetuate generational trauma, generational curses, and narcissism within family bloodlines and within the collective in general and shit like that. And it's ongoing cycle of bullshit pretty much. So yeah, so that's the type of shit we're dealing with. But then you got fucking time speeding up. You got days going by so fast and shit like that. Time has been accelerating ever since 2018 ongoing. So time is slowly disappearing. Time is slowly collapsing. So it's just like, everything's at a rush. People are rushed. People are getting less sleep because people are always on edge. People are always on the go. People are always on high alert because the more time is speeding, the more people are going to rush, and that's going to cause the human body to not get proper rest, pretty much. So is it even worth working when you're spending most of your everyday life just rushing and worrying about deadlines when time is speeding up so fast? Yeah, the system's not collapsing. The system's staying the same. There's no shorter work days. There's no shorter work hours. It's just the same. Nothing's really changing. So that's gonna cause a lot of fucking problems and shit. There's a lot of suffering too. There's a lot of suffering. So I feel like we are in a, obviously it could be worse. It's all about gratitude, but we're in a timeline too where there's a lot of shit that needs to be changed. There's a lot of shit that's outdated. Now, yeah, no, I'm talking about twin flame shit. So a twin flame, the word is kind of new agey, but pretty much what a twin flame is, it's pretty much a person who is either a similar vibe. It's hard to explain, but a twin flame is pretty much it's meant to show you your shadow side. It's meant to expose. It's meant to really perpetuate and to catapult your healing journey, pretty much. To your spiritual awakening, to realize who you are, to recognize your wounds, your traumas, and stuff like that, your triggers, etc. But also make you become more aware of your gifts, your talents, and how knowing that you are worthy of love. Because when you meet your twin flame, you experience that unconditional love and that intense love that you have for this person. But when that person triggers you and that person does things that you don't like, then, or not even that, but certain life circumstances prevents you from being with that person, that creates a lot of abandonment issues. That what pretty much that triggers your trauma, pretty much. So that's pretty much what a twin flame connection is. You can't have more than one twin flame. I've experienced that before. It is a real thing. It's an energy. It's very hard to explain it, but it's very spiritual. But it's just crazy how when I learned about these twin flame concepts and these experiences, and I see it from my own life experience, it plays out. How it plays out is like God uses people as like a puzzle, and not a puzzle, but God uses people as a puzzle, but God uses, like, life really is a game. It is a game. Life is a game. Like God does use people, like he does, good and bad. I feel like my conclusion is that, like, Earth and the human experience, it's just a school. That's pretty much what it is. It's a school for souls and spirits to learn lessons. This is why you go through so much suffering, you go through so much bullshit, so much dumbass shit, so much confusion, and just so much challenges and a lot of unfairness and confusion, because that's pretty much what it is. Earth is the human experience itself. It's a school for your soul and the spirit to evolve and grow and elevate. And just because I say that, I don't mean that in a good way. It can mean a bad thing. It can be a bad thing and a good thing. Because if you're in a realm where you constantly have to learn lessons and grow, you're not going to be at peace, because there's always some type of bullshit that's going to take place no matter what. God of the universe always finds something to throw some bullshit at you. This is why people call it hell. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's just trippy, man. Very trippy. Me experiencing being around a dysfunctional family and being subjected to a lot of family trauma, and me getting away and kind of contact my family, I do believe in generational curses is a real thing. I do believe demonic entities and negative forces do play a role within generational trauma and curses, because I've seen this shit play out within my family members and how they act on the things they've done, and how their eyes just look so evil. Pretty much, it is a real thing. So that's pretty much what it is. Pretty much, you have people who rule over this world who are very greedy, or very narcissistic, or very power hungry, and they know how to manipulate this realm and this reality through their knowledge and information, and that's able to grab people by the balls, pretty much. And they've been doing this shit since human history. That's why there's always been wars and battles going on throughout human history, so much enslavement, so much conflict and fights and shit like that, and enslavement and greed, pretty much, you know. But you also have demonic entities at play, because this realm, it's a duality. there's free will, but there's no free will at the same time. It's good and then bad at the same time. So, so this is why we don't have free will, because we have free will. People can make choices, and demonic entities are at play, and where people rule over this world, but you don't have free will at the same time. That's where astrology comes in. Astrology controls your free will pretty much. The more you learn about astrology, the more you realize that astrology really does control your free will. It does. I'm not gonna get into it. Like, if you know, you know. The more you study about astrology, the more you realize it controls your free will. You can use it to navigate through this realm, but the more you study, the more you realize we don't have free will like that. But we also have demonic entities, not just demonic entities, but you have spirits at work within this realm. So this realm it's pretty much it's a duality thing. It's pretty much what it is. That's why there's so much complications and so much bullshit and so much inconveniences, and it's very confusing, because this realm is a duality thing pretty much. Where this is why people talk about healing journey, everything is healing, spiritual awakening, all that shit, because Earth is a school for spirits to learn lessons. This is why we go through so much of all this bullshit. This is why there's so much shit going on within this reality, within this realm. This is why people make YouTube videos talking about certain shit. Some people talk about twin flames. Some people talk about different types of spiritual awakenings. Some people talk about, demonic entities, narcissism, just shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So, no fab. Just everything that involves spiritual awakening, growth, and evolution, pretty much, or spiritual warfare, attacks, etc. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So the more you know about spirituality, the more you learn about it, and the more you apply it, the more you can use that to your advantage by knowing more about yourself. And the more you know about yourself, the more you're healing yourself, the more you learn about the world, about spirituality, and the corruption, the good and the bad, and just all this shit, right? It kind of use it to work to your advantage, because now the more you know about yourself, the more you know what you like, what you don't like, and the more what you tolerate, what you can't tolerate. Especially if we've experienced a lot of things. It could be anything, the work situation, to the people you're interacting with, how you move, how you interact, how you want to carry yourself, your type of lifestyle you want to live, the type of routines and disciplines and habits you want to build. The more you know about yourself, the more you're going to know about these things, and then it's going to make you move differently when it comes to life, to where the average person, they don't know themselves as much, but you do. So now you're going to make decisions or do things that people may question, but only you know what's best for you. This is why you got to follow your intuition. You got to keep doing the healing work. You got to know more about yourself. That's how you move through life, pretty much. But obviously it's easier said than done, and the life is confusing. I feel like life, or God, the universe, or a certain energy will block you from you not knowing too much, or from you not knowing about the future, kind of like the unknown. This is where you get your faith from. This got to play the game. This is how the game is. This got to play the game. This is what I feel like God, the universe, purposely makes shit being unknown, just so you can play the game, so you can be intact within this reality, within this realm, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? So, but you can use it to your advantage. The more you learn about spirituality is life. It is life. It's life. That's pretty much what it is. The more you know about yourself and learn about yourself, then the more you know what you want, what you do like, and what you like, what you don't like, what you want, what you don't want, etc. And then the more you're gonna make decisions and do things that's gonna run based off your intuition, that's based on that way, but that you want to have on the most right alignment for you, pretty much, and you're gonna follow that no matter what, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Yes, obstacles will go away, blockages, because Earth is a school. There are gonna be challenges, obstacles, just for the fuck of it. You know what I'm saying? So, so that's how it is, pretty much. But yeah, man. But working for these jobs, working at these 9 to 5 jobs, man, that shit's insane, dog. Like, because it's crazy. Cause like you can make money, but you can easily lose money. So it's not like you just work for a job for a couple of years and then you're set. No, this is how it should be, but it's not. Like, a working period for money is horrible. It's not natural, but at least if we're gonna do something like that, at least be like that. But no, you're gonna have to work your whole life just to maintain money, just to maintain resources. If you don't work, you're not gonna pay your car bill. Your car's gonna told and taken away from you. You're gonna lose your home. We live in a very evil ass world. This world does drain your energy. It does take your energy. This world is very disturbing the more you think about it. The reason why people aren't panicking, people are aware of it, but people, they can't do anything about it because there's nothing you can do about it. We could talk about it, you could protest about it, but it's not really change being made. The only real change is unless you take an action to not work for the system. But even then, it's crazy how like, people are forced to do it, but because that's all they know, and it's not their fault. Because as babies, we were born into this bullshit. So the timeline is this problem. The realm, this reality, God, the universe, they're the fucking problems, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? For allowing this bullshit to happen. So it's fucking insane. Working for these jobs is crazy, especially with time speeding up. But there's accelerating time is even ongoing. It's gonna cause a lot more problems. At least for me, I'm already feeling it because like there's no way in hell I'm gonna continue working if time is gonna speed up like this. I don't have time for my personal stuff. I don't have time to recover, sleep, and I'm the type of person where I want to live life based on my own schedule. You know what I'm saying? If you work at a 9 to 5, you're not working through your schedule no more because you're forced to wake up at a certain time. You're forced to like get ready at a certain time, and it's gonna cause a lot of stress and worrisome. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I gotta say, and have a good one. Peace.